You are now listening to the KB Show.
All right, guys. Welcome back to the KB Show. Joined with Luke Thompson today. He's from the Bulldogs, obviously NRL player. Used to be over in the Super League. He's played international for England. How many games you play for England? Quite a few now, eh?
A couple, four for England.
Yeah, 4 for England, yeah. Yeah, so obviously, guys, he's an international rugby league player. So very, very privileged to have him on. Thanks for coming on, my man. How are you?
Thanks for having me, lad. Good to see you.
Come forward into that. Giving him the mic tutorial. Yeah, you get that close. Yeah, come a little bit forward, a little bit more forward. That's the one. Yeah, get him behind. Yeah, so pretty much, man, give us a little background story. Obviously, everyone knows that you're playing for the Bulldogs now. You were over in St. Helens, which is where we met each other. But yeah, give us a little bit of backstory, from where you were a kid and sort of how you ended up at St. Helens and that sort of path you took.
Yeah, so obviously played rugby since I was about 7. My dad took me down way back then and loved it ever since, really. Used to follow St. Helens back home and... as a young kid, that's all I dreamed of doing, playing professional, probably similar as you, and playing for the local club, which was St. Helens, and obviously fortunate enough to do that, go on and play 8 years there, then obviously where I met you as well, and then obviously just fancy a change, fancy a challenge, and that's what's brought me over here. So.
How did you end up at Saints? Like, how does that work for like the people at home over in like England? Do you go through like a development system where they sort of start you at like under 15s, under 16s like they do here in Australia, or how does that work? So from a kid,
I think the first time I went for a trial was like schoolboys. Schoolboy trial. I think it was like under 11s, and obviously you go through the system. They have like scholarships and academies, and you sort of just work your way up. I was on it all the way through since I was 11. Some kids only get picked up later on, but so I was in that system from 11 and right the way to get my debut at 18.
Yeah, nice, man. Is that when you debuted?
Yeah, it was my 18th birthday against one of your old clubs, actually, London Broncos.
Oh, was it?
London away, yeah. So
yeah, wow. Were they up in the Super League then?
There was, yeah. I think that was 2013. Yeah, so I don't know if within the Super League. When did you play for them?
2019.
Yeah, I don't know if they had a spell back in Championship. And then they got back.
Yeah. Because when they came, my first year was their first year back in.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just 13, so my 18th birthday, I was shitting bricks and come off the bench.
What did you play? Did you play front row or lock? Or
I was actually back row back then.
Back row?
Yeah, second row, yeah. And
then,
yeah, so I got promoted to the front row a bit later on.
What you put on the timber,
Yeah, put a bit of timber on.
You went on to win the grand final that year, didn't you? Was it debut year that you went on to?
No, it was
the next year
after, yeah. So debut in 2013, we played about 7 games.
Yep.
And then the year after, we won the grand final in 14.
Yeah.
Beat Wigan in the final at Old Trafford. I think I only played 14 games that year, so it was a bit mad, really. Ended up in the grand final.
Ended up in the grand final. What was that like, man? 19 years old, running out, obviously Old Trafford. 80,000 people, like just playing at Old Trafford is wild.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Let alone playing a grand final.
Yeah, looking back now, it's a bit of a blur. But yeah, I just remember coming down the tunnel and the atmosphere at Old Trafford is just insane. Like the stands sort of just go right up and right to the heavens, and the atmosphere is just crazy, and you have all the fireworks going off when you're walking out, and yeah, it's mad. And I always remember, I don't know if you watched that final. That was the one where Benny Flower punched Lance White on the floor. Full brawl in the first.
That was like one of the first minute or something, wasn't it?
It was the first. Only in the first 10 minutes.
Yeah, it was early on.
Wigan were obviously that fired up. Sean Wayne getting into him before the game, and I don't know, a bit of a brain explosion from Benny Flower, and he just
cracked him when he was on the floor.
And he's got a red card. So I'm sat on the bench. I was 18, 19, just shitting it, and then obviously Lance was out cold, so he had to go off, and then I came on after that, and the game was all fired up. Straight on there. Yeah.
Did you come on for him?
Well, I think
just after.
I think Mark Flanagan went from the back row. he ended up playing halfback.
Yeah, okay.
And then I went on the second row.
Oh, no way. So you were just on straight after everything's
I
just
was
like...
straight in there, yeah. But I remember, obviously, they were down a man because he got red carded.
Yeah.
So I went on there, I was back row and took my first carry. And there was a bit of space behind the ruck, straight behind the ruck.
Oh, did ya?
Yeah,
Straight
so
through?
Got a good carry on my first carry, and that was me then.
Yeah.
For the game, a bit of confidence. So.
Yeah. It's always one of those things where you're stepping in. It's hard because, like, I've never really experienced coming off the bench, but I can imagine, like, as a forward, when you're seeing how, like, elevated it is, especially coming off, like, after pretty much a full fight breaks out, and then trying to, like, test the waters a little bit. So that would have been a nice little one for you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just straight in there and do your best. But now, look, fortunately, I played pretty well, and we got the win. So
yeah,
it was a good day.
What's it like, that walkout? Like, that's always something that is so, like, popularly televised, when you having the walkout from Old Trafford and you're walking side by side. So it's like you and Wigan obviously walk side by side out the tunnel, and then you walk right down the pitch, sort of side by side. What's that like, man? So obviously you've talked about, so Old Trafford is a soccer ground. Yeah. Even like the dead balls are like 3 meters long or something, like
6 meters.
Yeah, they're super broad in. I remember like people scoring tries and literally sliding off the edge, and it's just that much. So what was your head going through? Like, you're 19, walking out. Obviously, you've got like side by side. Who was walking next to you from Wigan?
I always remember just like feeling pretty confident before it. Obviously, there was nerves, but I wasn't too like, I was feeling pretty good, and I was in the tunnel. And like, he's all waiting to walk out, and you have a glance aside and the other teams there, and it was just a bit surreal, really. Second year, and I've ended up there. So I remember looking back, like, I was sat in the stands watching Saints play. I've been there a few times as a kid, and it's just mad to end up there playing. It's just that good. I just remember, like, I've not got many memories of the game. I just remember like the last 5 minutes, and I looked at the scoreboard, and I think we was up by 8 points, and I was just like, we've got this here. Like, we've got to score twice, and I was running around like a headless chicken, just trying to tackle everything. Get on, yeah. So.
It is what it's like. The last 5 minutes when you do look up for like an important game, you're ahead. You're like, oh, come on. You're just watching the clock almost. It's taking its time. But so bringing it back a little bit to obviously when you were a young fella, what was the turning point of you just like dedicating? You sat back and was like, oh, this is definitely what I want to do. Like, I know for me, it was, I got rejected. I didn't make an SG ball team, which was like under 18s. And I remember having a conversation with my dad, and he was like, look, if you want to make this, you got to do X, Y, and Z. And I was like, that's it. From time on now, I'm dedicating everything to it. What was that turning point for you?
I think, since I can remember, it was all I wanted to do, and I wanted it that much. But I remember I was around, so I've been in the Saints system since I was 11. I think it was like 13, 14, and I started playing computer games and that, and I started getting a bit complacent. And I used to, my old man had a BMW X5, and he had the TVs in the back of the car.
Yeah. In the headrest from back in the day.
I had the PlayStation set up in the car.
Did you?
I remember rocking up to training one day.
Bougie.
Yeah, and you know Steve Leonard? Remember Leo?
Yeah.
The scholarship coach.
Yeah.
Uncle Leo, they called him. He was waiting, obviously, with all the lads who got out, for start the training session. And I'm sat in the car on the PlayStation. I won't get out of the car.
Yeah.
And he always tells me that story, and I feel like I just got a bit complacent, and they almost let me go that year. And I remember like going in for my meeting. It's at the end of every scholarship, like term or every year, whatever. They tell you if you're staying on, or you've been released.
Yeah, give you like a little bit of a review type of thing.
Review sort of thing. Yeah, and he said, we was gonna let you go, but we decided to keep you, and blah blah blah. He said, I think you need to knuckle down a bit, and from that point, then I was like, shit, yeah, I could be flipping, could be going off the. It was that age. When I was a young kid, I was always like, the big kid and that, and it was all pretty natural to me. But it was when we got to like 13, 14, everyone starts catching up with you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like everyone's a similar height, and you're not just a big kid anymore. That's
like your speed and power is just not going to take you over the line anymore.
Yeah, and it was that point there, and I started. I really started training hard, and I remember I started going. So I'd go running on a night. I'd just go out and used to do like this big run. If it's like 3 miles, I used to go out and do a 3 mile run, and like got real fit, and sort of kicked on from there.
Yeah, I love that, man. It's like everyone has that similar sort of story where it was like either like didn't make a team, like for me, or for you, almost like getting kicked out of the academy, and it's just like that breaking point where it's like, nah, like obviously if you keep going down this path and don't make some changes, obviously you were saying that you were starting to go on runs, and obviously you were implementing things that you had to do, but obviously that's carried you through to where you are now. What are some of like the habits that you think have got you over the line? So obviously you said that you were going for runs. Was there, obviously you're in quite good nick. I know that you do care a lot about your like obviously lifting and your dietitian, stuff like that. So what do you think sort of
I think you're always learning, especially throughout your career and when, as you get older. But when you're a young kid, when you're 16, 15, 16, then when you make your debut at 17, 18, then you're always trying to improve and get better. And one thing I picked up on pretty early was like my diet. I was always into my training. If I didn't play rugby, I'd probably still train anyway. And I realised at a point that if I was going to get better, I needed to be as fit as I can. And a big part of that's diet and what you put in your body. So I sort of realised that from pretty early on in my career. When I was probably 19, 20, I started really knuckling down my diet and just trying to learn stuff. What was was the best thing to eat? When I'm eating this, what I'm doing, and trying to sort of master my diet. And when I really sort of stuck to that, my career sort of just went up from there. The more dedicated I was with that, and sort of diligent with my meal preps, and I was prepping at one point, and just being real strict with that sort of stuff. I definitely seen my career go up.
Yeah, when you start to see like the results of it, it starts to become a bit addictive, doesn't
it's
it?
A bit addictive,
you know what I mean? Like you implement a few things and you.
Well, it's sort of hard work, really. It's all different. You might think training's hard work. Well, being dedicated with your diet's hard work as well. But that hard work pays you back, just like the training in the gym hard work would pay you back.
100%.
So when you see that, and you see the results, you're feeling better, you're playing better. Like you say, it becomes a bit addictive, and you want to keep doing it. You want to, be even better with that, and that's sort of what I'm like. And I keep always trying to better myself. And diet, I found out diet was a big part of that, and sort of something I always take real serious.
Yeah. So what does Tomo's diet look like? Like what would you say your staple house for like for it?
Like I just said, I'm always trying to try new things and see what works. But I thought I'd just stick to the same foods. High protein, eat a lot of. Sort of been trying to follow the carnivore diet a bit.
Oh, have you?
So
yeah, cool.
Eat a lot of recently a lot of red meat, fish, salmon, chicken, and rice. Really, and just rotate it around.
Yeah, it's almost like sort of sounds like a bit of a mix between the carnivore and a bit of paleo as well.
Yeah,
so just trying to stay as fresh as possible.
Because I know like carnivore diet, they don't eat the carbs.
Yeah, it's just strictly meat,
fruit. But I feel like the amount of cardio we do at training, and how hard the trainers, I feel like you need carbs. Yeah. So I'll get a bit of rice in there. And just always tinkering around with it really, but I'm feeling good at the minute.
Yeah, it'd be hard to get through. I remember like when keto was coming through, that was massive in like 2017, 16, that was all coming through. And I know a lot of the boys were switching to keto. I'm like, man, like we do a lot of intense training, and a lot of the intense training comes from like glycogen that's stored in the muscle. You need to break that down into glucose to be able to use it. And it's just like, I was like, boys, you need to eat some carbs, you know what I mean? Whether it's like just before training or maybe the night before, but you need to be getting something in. Do you like follow to the point of like, do you have any like liver or organ meat or anything like that? Do you go on sort of that far?
A bit of liver actually,
nice.
There's a meat store not far from my place, and they have like a big freezer, and they put like the beef liver mince in there, all grass fed. So I've been cooking that up with a bit of beef mince and just tinkering around with it really. But definitely feeling good.
Yeah, you're feeling good.
Yeah.
Well, you said before you didn't have any niggles, didn't really have any injuries or anything like that. So I reckon it does play a massive part. I know for myself, like I sort of went through the same journey as you, obviously, around like 19, 20, started to really get into my nutrition. And as I did, I started to notice, like yourself, in my game leveling up. But it was also just like my training as well. Like I didn't feel as inflamed, you know what I mean? You know, sometimes if you're eating crap food, like you feel like your joints are...
Yeah, the big thing's the inflammation, like especially like now getting a bit older in my career, you know, turned 27 this time in April. So, you know, definitely feeling the body, feeling a bit like, you know, a bit more sore and stiff after training. So, just anything I can do to sort of, you know, make myself feel better. I'm trying it, and you know, definitely cutting out all the shit and you know, eating more high anti-inflammatory foods.
Yeah,
you know,
nice.
Definitely helped.
Doing a bit of research around that and trying to find what works for you.
Yeah, that's it.
Cool.
I remember having a conversation with you when you were saying, you know, I remember you get me onto the ATP,
all the supplements.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was why I wanted to get you on, man, because I know you have a mad passion similar to myself for like nutrition and always trying to push yourself forward. And I know that a lot of people will be able to learn a lot from you. So I just want you to just, for like the average Joe out there that might be wanting to, you know, 2022 new me, what's a sort of diet protocol maybe they can follow, or just a couple of suggestions that you would give to them? Might be, you know what I mean, just boost your protein up. Or it might be just watching processed foods, you know what I mean? What's something they can take away?
I think a big one is just like, I feel like a lot of people have like you know, they feel like every meal's got to be something fancy, or you know, like got to be, I don't know, like it's not. The way of looking at it is like, you know, your food and your food's just fuel for the body. So, you know, I think once you start eating better and you're feeling better, you don't really want to go back to eating shit again.
That's it, yeah.
So if you just keep it simple and put yourself on, you know, if you eat 3 meals a day, just have your 3 meals a day and plan it out. It takes a bit of preparation as well. You know, have it in the fridge ready. You know what you're going to eat. You know, if your food's not in the fridge, you think, shit, I've got nothing in. You've got to go and pick something quick. Like,
yeah.
You're eating a sandwich or something like.
That's when
bread and you feel shit and
fall off the wagon when you go into this shopping centre and you're hungry, and then you drive past Macca's, you're like, oh, I'll just stop in there. And it all sort of starts to fall off. But I think, man, that's a very good point that you bring up. And I feel like if people can sort of base their meals, as you said, like 3 meals a day, where they're actually looking to just fuel the body and get what they need to get out of it, instead of trying to have to make it taste nice all the time. But it's like, obviously, there's a certain point where you need to enjoy food, but I feel like if, as you said, the baseline's right.
Yeah, and I think, like, you know, if you think, right, like me personally, I have 4 meals a day. If you have 3, you know, and you like eating beef and chicken, you can, you know, you don't have to just be like chicken and rice or whatever. You can put chicken into, make a curry with it, or make it healthy, you know, but just make sure you get them meals in and be consistent with it as well. You'll definitely feel better, I reckon.
Yeah, that's one thing I do like about like the carnivore and paleo approach. Like, people do need to understand that, like, carnivore, you do need to be eating liver meats and stuff like that, and it's not for everyone, and sometimes it's not sustainable. But the theory around trying to get it as fresh as possible, like especially with the paleo, you know what I mean? Like, they eat like obviously a lot of fresh vegetables, a lot of meat. Like, I think no one's really getting fat from just eating good quality meats and good quality vegetables, you know what I mean? It's more from the processed stuff that they eat, or even throwing some carbs in there, as you said, like a bit of rice and stuff like that. Like, it's when you start to get the pastas and you put a bit of cheese with it, or you know what I mean, put a bit of cream with it, and like that's the sort of add-ons. And although people obviously have to enjoy their food and there's times and places to enjoy it, but a lot of the times, if you're really looking for the best results, you have to be looking at what's going to fuel the body and what's going to work for you, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think a lot of the time people are confused like to what's actually good for them and what's not. Like,
true, very true.
If you're eating something, just look like what is that? What are you putting in your body, and have a look how they make it. You know, if it's, you know, like if it's a bread wrap, like, well, what's actually in that? What's going in it?
100%. Like, that's something that I say to like my clients and stuff like that. A lot of them are so attracted to, like the nutrition table where it's got like the protein and carbs.
I don't really look at
fats.
like counting calories or macros and all that stuff. I sort of just look at what's actually going in my body.
Yeah, that's what I say to them. Just like not so much.
As you can.
Yeah, try to not look at the table so much. Obviously, calories are important, but look at like the ingredients. Like you get, as you said, you get like a wrap, and it's like the ingredients list is like freaking that long.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like a lot of those things can't be good for the body. And as you said, if you just try and keep it as fresh as possible, generally the calories are going to be low anyway. You know what I mean? Like if you're having good
your
meats
body's
and
be able to sort it out.
Exactly, digest it, assimilate it properly.
It's real food. It's not.
Yeah, it's not going to cause like a cascade of something else that's going to happen. Exactly. Well, obviously you're someone that likes to push and find out and progress. You've obviously been working with Benny Roberts, who's a mobility coach. How you been finding that? Like obviously helping you into the season. For anyone who doesn't know out there, we'll put Benny's link down below. He's really good, isn't he? For like in terms of like strength and conditioning.
Yeah, so I did a bit of work with Benny in the off season. He reached out to me actually, and I was up in Queensland in the break, and he said like I have to come down and do a session with him. I remember Benny played at Castleford when you played against him as well.
I played with him at Eels.
Did you play with him at Eels as well?
Yeah, we played. I think like at least 2, maybe 3 years together. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, so anyway, I knew him from playing against him, and obviously went down, did a session with him, and he's top bloke. So
legend.
Yeah, and he's obviously had a few injuries in his career, and then looking to sort of help athletes now, sort of look after the bodies so they don't have get the injuries or do the same things what he did. And he's sort of got to a point where I'm 26, 27, and definitely feeling a little stiffer and a bit more sore. You don't really bounce back as quick as when you're 23, 24.
Oh, 100%, man. That's one of the first things, especially the full-time training, you just can't, exactly. Man. You just can't.
Yeah, and I was just looking for something, to try something different. And a lot of Benny's stuff's like, getting full range of motion and like, strengthening.
Talks about strength through range a lot, doesn't he?
And stuff like that, yeah. And it's just good to get a different perspective. But no, body's definitely feeling a lot better after working with him in the off season.
Yeah. What's some of the things that he takes you through, like some of the exercises? I know I was with you before and you were talking about the over the head weight plate. That's something that I love, like just opening yourself up.
Yeah.
He follows a very much like a knees over toes guys, like the ATG, doesn't it? Where like the split squats and stuff like that. Is that what he's got you doing, or?
Yeah, well, I think like when we're training at rugby, it's like, when you're doing that much running, you're always, and you go in the gym afterwards, you're always stiff and like you don't really got that range. And then the amount of running we do, your knees getting sore, and he's sort of just like doing a movement through a full range instead of just like a half
range. Yeah.
There's all different perspectives to training, like, and I've seen people say that like just going to 90-degree angles on your lifts is like meant to be better for your joints and stuff, but I definitely feel good from getting that extra
range.
Yeah, so it was interesting, and definitely work with him again next season.
Yeah, it's almost like a stretch as well as like a strengthening exercise, isn't it? Like I know just singling out like the split squat here, where it's full trying to get knee right over toe. Yeah. You know what I mean?
You're not going heavy. You're not trying to break records with it.
Yeah, you're not going heavy.
Sort of get your length in your muscles and strength through that range.
Yeah. But it's not exactly easy, even though there's not a lot of load. No, it's that extra range makes it that much more difficult that you just don't really need the extra load, do you?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, yeah. I think it's definitely worth looking at for athletes. Sort of like a bit of a accessory to your training, but definitely good in the off season. For sure.
I've seen a lot of players coming out, especially like Troy Savage. I don't know if you know Troy Savage. He's doing a similar sort of thing to Benny Roberts. He's actually coming into the gym sometime next week, and we're going to film some stuff, which would be good for the audience. Yeah. But I've noticed like a lot of players, coming out of their careers, and they're very vocal about the type of training that they used to do, and they're like obviously same as Benny Roberts. He had a few injuries, and he's done the research, and he's found other ways where obviously you can strengthen the body. Do you reckon that there needs to be sort of an update to how strength and conditioning is done in rugby league, like especially obviously back in the day? But do you think they're sort of behind the times in sense?
I don't know really. I think rugby league is a real physical game, and you just need to be as strong as you can. If the stronger you are, the more it's going to protect your body. But I just found, like, just for me, more so getting older, I just feeling more stiff in the joints. So like I found that it was good to sort of get that extra range, because the more training you do, the older you get, you're just going to get stiffer and tighter.
Stiffer and tighter.
Just sort of strip it back a little bit, open yourself up, and then you get more out your training again, you can start again, sort of thing. And feeling good for it, for sure.
Feeling good for it, yeah. I know for me, like it was one of those things where I sort of went down the similar sort of road where was looking to external factors of like maybe yoga and stuff like that to try and train. Because I remember at footy, it was always just like everything was so separate. It was like if we're doing flexibility, we're doing flexibility here. And then it was like, it was very much strength training and like trying to get big and massive. And then you go into like wrestle where you just like bash each other and just like...
I think the game is very much like, it's... Especially the game now with the rule changes and the speed of the game, it's
that's
they'll be able to move well. So if you can be as strong as you want, but if you're stiff and you don't move well with your strength, it's no good. You can't use it. So
it's useless at this point in time.
Everything's got to be sort of transferable. And so you need to be mobile, and that's where your mobility comes in, having that range of motion and strength, not just
being a nugget.
Nugget sort of thing. So,
how have you found the rule changes? Obviously, it'd probably suit yourself, being a little bit quicker. You got a bit of footwork for a forward. Obviously, you got a big motor as well. Have you liked the rule changes? Suited you a bit more?
I think
the faster game.
Yeah, well, I think Super League's always been quick.
Well, that's true, man. That's true. Yeah.
I reckon Super League's probably was quicker than the NRL. Where the NRL's, it's a higher standard. There's better players out here across the board, but you got bigger bodies, and I reckon there's more contact in it, and
there's a lot more through the middle in NRLA. A lot more sort of like theory of like 5 up for a kick type of thing, and there's a lot of controlled wrestle. Whereas like Super League, there's a lot more like throwing it about. They're happy to shift in their own like territory type of thing, and I don't think wrestle is a super massive focus over there. Like it's like still done, and especially in the top 4 teams. But I know I don't think like the other teams, it's not a massive focus for them, I reckon.
Yeah, I think so. And I think obviously with the new rule change and the 6 agains and that, I think it's now quicker over as well.
Yeah,
so that sort of evened it out. But something I was used to playing over there, and obviously, like you said, I think it suits me. So
suits you to a T.
Yeah, I don't mind it.
I don't know how you do the 6 again, man. Like literally, just like you've already been defending like a whole set, and they just go, because before, like, you get a penalty, and then you know what I mean, you got a little bit of time to try and set yourself. Whereas now they're just like playing on. It's like those old school tackle drills where you just like we're just smashing each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For however long, for the 3 minutes or whatever.
See, and we got hammered with them last year, so it was always roll back 18 tackles in a row.
18 tackles in a row.
Middle, just hanging on,
Yeah, I think like for audience back home, I don't think like it's hard to realise how hard that is to defend your line like multiple sets in a row. Like you can be you even take like the Melbournes and the Roosters and stuff like that. Very good defensive teams, but the repeated efforts on efforts, especially being in the middle, trying to wrestle, absorbing contact, getting off the line too, because you're on your goal line, so you can't just wait back for people. You got to get off your line as well. It's not easy, man.
You get the ball back, you got to take a carry.
Get in there. That's when you're pointing to the outside back. So get in here, mate. Freaking get in here. That was when it was good to be back at Saints. You just had freaking big Tommy Mack just
Tommy Mack the others on the halfway line,
flying off the wing, just like get out of the way. He's coming through. He was a good sight. I love watching him come through. You speak to much of the old Saints boys and that?
Yeah, still catch up with a few of them. Yeah, got some good mates there. So I think it's Big Al's testimonial last week as well.
Yeah, was that last week? Did he play through last week?
Did he? They played Lee. Yeah, so I think
they've done well to hold that group together, like that core group.
Yeah.
Like you've seen how many testimonial games they've had over the last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
It is a testament to like how well they've been able to retain that class, haven't they?
That's I think the lads want to stay there because it's such a good club and the people there you're working with. It's I definitely miss it there. It's a special club and some good people there.
Yeah. What was that transition like? So talk us through when the deal was coming through and you were thinking about coming over to Bulldogs and then it actually happened from Saints.
It's probably the toughest decision of my life, really, leaving there. Like I was there, like I said earlier, since I was 11 and done 8 years there at first team and it was home for me, really, St Helens. So leaving there was real tough, but
you'd have been so 8 years, so you would have been 2 years off your testimonial too.
Yeah,
that's a big call.
Yeah. So
for like people like in Australia, like testimonial game it's where they pretty much
10 years service at the club.
10 years service, and that game you pretty much get all the proceeds.
So
from the game.
That's your game. Yeah, so you get all the gate money, I think.
All the gate money, which is obviously like it's a fair bit, and it's a pretty big honour over there, isn't it? So to walk away,
it's like a thank you for your service.
Thank you for your service. But to walk, like you obviously had 2 years left, to walk away from that, that's a massive call. But
but obviously the opportunity just came up to come over here, and I always like watching the NRL, and obviously there's it's regarded as the number one competition in the world, and like I said earlier, I always want to challenge myself and get better and improve, and just the the experience of coming out here and what you learn about yourself, stepping out of the comfort zone, and I just fancied it, really. It was an opportunity I couldn't really turn down.
Yeah, and hats off to you, man. Like it's a big call for someone to make, and especially just to test yourself, put yourself out of the comfort zone. Like that's
obviously
really all you're getting out of it.
Away, but I reckon you
I love my time in England, man.
It's like you learn so much about yourself.
Exactly, man. Like it's like pretty much up until then, I was like still living at home with my parents.
You're still listening to comfort zone.
You know what I mean? Very much comfort zone.
That's what I mean. Like I didn't. As much as I loved it at St Helens, I can't say a bad word about the club.
I loved it there too.
I love it to bits, but it's just like getting. I could have stayed there and stayed comfortable, but just getting away from there for another challenge, and just from what you learn about yourself, and that's one of the big reasons why I left. Yeah,
man. Hats off to you. It's a big call to sort of make and to come over. Obviously, your partner came over with you.
Yeah. So I was over here on my own for 6 months before she came over. So that was pretty tough. I came through COVID as well, so we were stuck in a bubble.
Yeah, that would have been a bit.
Yeah, so I got here, didn't really know anyone, and then I was just stuck in the house.
So
I couldn't even go out and mingle with lads and that. So
how have you liked it in Australia?
I'm enjoying it, mate. Yeah, it's good. The weather's a bit better.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah, I'm enjoying the footy as well. The competition's great.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it. Looking forward to the new season.
Any big difference that you've noticed, just not in terms of playing, but like maybe the fans or just the everyday being in the NRL compared to the Super League? Like, how does it much different for you?
Just the game's that big out here, and it's Sydney, your rugby league's massive in England. It's a little bit overshadowed by the soccer, and out here it's just everyone's mad for it. The rugby league, wherever you go, people recognise you, and I mean, when I got over here, I'd not even played a game, and people would stop me in the Woolworths. Like,
there you go.
Me,
don't even know. Signing autographs, shaking hands, kissing babies.
Yeah, not that.
So give us a little bit of your game day ritual, man. I'm always curious to see like what people may eat. I know a lot of people are nappers before nighttime games and stuff like that. Give us a little. So from like the time you wake up, what does that sort of look like, just for the people on?
Well, I do depends what time we're playing really. Back in Super League, they're all
say like a nighttime game, like a Friday night
games,
Friday night game here.
But over here we're playing most afternoons.
Yep.
Mostly Sundays and Saturday kick-off. So the night before I'll get the carbs in, load up, have a big feed, and then just relax really, put the feet up, and game day I like to get up, get some breakfast in me. I'll have a lie-in, but not lying too late.
Yeah.
I feel like it puts you out of whack a little bit, when you sleep in, and probably go for a walk and just chill really.
Yeah, just sort of get the legs moving a little bit. And is there any meal that you have to have that day? Like I know for me, I was massive on sushi, man. Almost every time, especially back home, like being in Sydney. Like it's obviously a bit easier
to do though, living in Manchester in your swanky apartment. How many grouse sushi joints in there?
Not many, man. That's why I had to sort of change it up a little bit, because it's a little bit more harder to come by living in England. But for me, it was sushi. Any particular meal that you go to?
Oh, yeah. Well, I used to always eat. I'd have a big pasta, so I'd go with mum's the night before a game. She'd cook me up a big pan, and I'd have couple of bowls of that the night before, and then I'd have one. I'd take one with me for game day. But I've stopped eating pasta actually. I've gone gluten free. So
oh, nice, yeah.
I'm just sort of sticking to the rice or gluten free pasta. So
yeah. That was used to be that. My night before was always gluten free pasta and meatballs. Yeah, that was like that and sushi was like pretty much every game for me.
Yeah, I just think you can't go wrong with rice. It feels like it digests pretty well. And
that's it, man. You got to work for what works for you. And although obviously you want to be strong and powerful, but you also want to feel light in the field, don't you? You don't want to be feeling heavy. Exactly, like your legs don't want to be feeling heavy, feeling like you've got something in your guts. You want to be like fresh and ready to go. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, and just it's a piece of meat. Like I won't really change it now too much for what I eat day to day. Just lean meat, fish, or just some rice. Pretty simple. Yeah, just keep it simple. Something that can digest well. 100%, man. What's some goals moving in for 2020? What's Tomo look like for this year, man? Obviously, you're at the Dogs. You've recruited really well. Probably one of the best off seasons for recruitment wise, I think, of any team the Bulldogs have had. So obviously, you guys would expect to go pretty decent this year. Yeah, mate. Honestly, really looking forward to it. I think like you said, the new players we've signed have all fitted in really well, and the team's definitely looking better. Training's been good as well. So just trying to improve from last year. I don't think we can do any worse. But don't worry, man. I've had a wooden spoon before as well. So, I had one at Barra. I think I had two at Barra. But just trying to be better than last year, and obviously the goal is always to win grand final. So knuckle down, do as best we can. Yeah. No, you've recruited well, man. I think obviously it's a building phase. You know what I mean? It's hard to expect to bring a whole heap, even the best players. It's hard to expect to bring in a whole heap of the best players to come together and gel and everything just to work to be able to obviously win a grand final. But I feel like we've got some more experience in it now, and you've got a lot of big game experience now as well. We just need everyone to do the job. Yeah, that's it. Just worry about themselves. Just be the best you can be and do your job. And if everyone does that, we should do all right. So. Yeah, no, I think you do well, man. And before I let you go, I just wanted to thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it. And just wanted to give like a little take home message. Obviously, we spoke about before with like the diet and nutrition side and stuff like that. Is there anything else that you would recommend as like a habit for someone to sort of pick up, whether it be, as you said, like going for walks or just focusing on the diet before we shoot off? Little takeaway for someone listening in, looking for a bit of inspiration from Big Tomo? One thing I like doing is I usually take a little walk after meals. Oh yeah. There's actually a bit of research behind that. I got it from. Do you follow that Stan Efferdin? Is it on? I don't know. Yeah, I forget you just showed me. Stan Efferdin. Okay, yeah, cool. He's into like nutrition. He's a bodybuilder over in the States, but he's like cool. He's like 55 and he's flipping massive, ripped. Yeah. and he always takes short walks after every meal.
Yeah.
So it helps with your digestion and starts that obviously digestive process, getting your body moving.
Yeah, it's great for regulating blood sugar levels as well.
You have a big meal and you sit on the couch.
Yeah.
If you just sat there, you're just like, whoa.
Yeah.
If you actually go for a little walk after a meal, it starts that process, and I think it definitely makes you feel better. So that's what I've been doing.
Lovely, man.
Home for you.
A little take home for you.
Try that.
There you go, guys. Little walk after the meal.
Little walks after meals.
Again, man, really appreciate you giving up your time. Obviously, you're in the middle of
it.
pre-season at the moment, and yeah, it's to sort of come out. It's Australia Day as well. We're filming in the middle of Australia Day, so I really appreciate you coming out and giving up your time. And I'm sure the audience appreciate it as well. And we're looking forward to seeing you run out in the Bulldogs colours very soon.
Yeah, cool.
Cheers, my man.
Mate.